there, Julia here. I've been talking about my paper rabbit hole on and off for the past year or so. At the end of 2024, there was a bad batch of Tomoe River paper, and I had been using Tomoe River paper for most of my planners and journals for a couple of years or so up to that point. So I kind of spiraled whenever that happened, but I'm thankful in a way because it's led me to try a lot of different paper types. So today I just want to show you how I test my notebooks and reference the many that I have. I have a few new ones to do as well, so we can also do that. And I am just a little wacky whenever I go through stores, like I'm always touching the papers and I'm starting to get a feel for whether or not they're fountain pen friendly. Sometimes I'm surprised and, sometimes I'm not. So I like to pick up notebooks, not only at stationery stores, but also while traveling, like at museums or little bookshops and things like that. So I always just end up with a variety of papers. And so when I'm wanting to pull a new notebook for a project, I think it's really important to know if it's going to be fountain pen friendly for writing, for swatching, and kind of comparing them against each other. So I'll show you what I typically do in a range of different notebooks. So this is the Stalogy notebook. I don't know the size. It looks like an A6. It's a grid paper, and I know Stalogy paper is hit or miss when it comes to fountain pens, so I guess just be aware of that. A lot of these notebooks I probably won't be able to tell you the exact paper type just because of the nature of how I got them, but with this one I'll show you pretty much best case scenario and what the back of my notebooks look like. So I always write with a fountain pen. I will typically use a medium nib just because for longer form writing, just for typical writing, I'm gonna use a medium or a fine. And if a medium works fine, if a medium works well, then the fine will be fine. So after I write with it, I might do a little figure 8 or something like that. I will give it 1 check mark if it's okay. Maybe there's the slightest hint of feathering or the paper isn't taking the ink as well. I'll just give it 1 check. If it's A+, it's showing some properties, it's not showing any feathering, I'll give it 2 checks. If it doesn't work for fountain pens, I'll be able to tell pretty much off the bat, but I'll just put an X. And then I like to use Pilot Blue for my testing just so that it's consistent across the notebooks. And I chose Pilot Blue just because it's a well-behaved ink. It does have some lights and some darks. It has even a little bit of sheen. And I think the type of sheen in Pilot Blue is important because it's subtle. Like, this is not a sheening ink, but we do get some sheen on some papers. So that really tells me if I'll be able to see some of the properties in inks. And then I'll grade the swatch, and how I grade them is there color variation? Do I get that sheen? And what does the back of the page look like? So this is normal, not very much bleed through, just a little tiny bit. And it doesn't transfer on to this page or any other pages. And I think this is normal for a fountain pen friendly page. So I gave this one an A+. Just want to show some variation here, some other ones. This notebook is from Papermind, and the paper I think is Dandelion. Yes, Dandelion. And so here, this paper is like kind of linen-y, so it does have some texture. But you can see I wrote with probably a medium, looks like maybe even like a stub or something, cursive italic, and it works fine for fountain pen writing. Gave it 2 check marks there. I gave the swatch a B- because we do get sheen, even though it kind of loses the color quality there. We don't get as much variation. Let's just compare it to the A+. Yeah, we don't get as much variation, but we also don't get any bleed through and barely any ghosting. So that's a lot of information there for me. The color isn't the best, but as far as the paper holding on to the ink, it's really sufficient for that. Here's a notebook I got in San Francisco from just a little gift shop, I'm sure, and I just really loved this like a letter pressed type of color with the San Francisco cityscape here. It's just a really pretty notebook. It's a cover, so I can... Oh, can I take this out? No, not really. But it's like a cover style. It's just a blank notebook, and it even came with little guides. So here, this is what a C can look like. So fountain pen test, great for writing with fountain pens. The swatch test, I think, gave it a C here, just because we don't get the sheen at all. The color does look flat, but we do get a little variation. You see light and dark. Not too bad on the ghosting, but just the tiniest bit of bleed through here. So comparing to the A+. All right, this is another kind of souvenir notebook that I got in Ronda, Spain, which is absolutely one of my favorite cities that I've been to in the world. Love Ronda. So I got this at a souvenir shop there. It is lined. And this one, as you can see, is great for fountain pen just writing. I gave it 2 check marks here. And then we get to the swatch and I give it an F. So I will not be using this as a swatch journal, but that's good information to know that I can write in this notebook with a fountain pen. Just comparing it to the A+. So you can see that we totally get flat color here. And I would imagine that it was hard for me to move around the ink on this page. We get no sheen at all, no ink properties here. And then on this back side, we get some significant bleed through. And then the last one I want to show you is this one. I got this one, I think in Portugal, and it was in this beautiful journal shop, and they made all these cork journals and just like hand-stitched journals. I think I have another one as well with different paper. But beautiful A5 cork hand-done notebook, all blank. And then we get back to the back here, and this is what we have. So for this one, fountain pen writes great. This one looks like a fine nib, but fountain pen writing works fine. Swatch test is an X, so that just means don't swatch a thing in here because it's just not a good idea. We get, again, no variation in the ink itself, none of that sheening, just flat color, and the paper just eats the ink up. So this one bled through this page, more pages. It just kept bleeding through. Yeah. So we know that this can be used for sketching and doodling and even some writing. Pasting in things, but this will never be an ink swatch journal. Okay, so I honestly have a stack of notebooks that I need to do this to, but I'm just gonna do a few here to just A, get a few done, and B, show you what it's like when I get a new notebook. So this is one of those souvenir notebooks. I got it from the Winding Stair during a recent trip to Ireland and the Netherlands. I got this in Dublin. We had a really nice dinner here. So I have a medium nib Pilot V pen, and this was tuned by Annabelle as a gift. So get no feathering. Looks good on the back side. It's pretty thick cream paper. So we're gonna give this 2 check marks. Okay, I'm just surprised by that because I think I remember when I picked this up, like, ooh, I don't know if this is gonna be fountain pen friendly or not. Try to just keep it pretty normal, like what my normal swatch would be as far as the amount of ink that I'm putting down on the page. I can see the way that it's already kind of seeping into the page that this may not be the best. But yeah, it's not moving around very much at all. We're not getting variation. It's looking fuzzy and it's bleeding. So that type of bleed is an automatic F in my opinion. So our swatch gets an F. You know, which is fine. This does look and feel like a notebook that I would do maybe some doodling, some urban sketching, because I really want to get into that, or, you know, have a little photo of something and a little blurb. Like, there's plenty of uses for notebooks that I can't swatch in, but it's just good information to have. Again, just a quick comparison to the A+. Okay, next up is this notebook that I got at New York Stationery Fest. I got it from Takeo Paper Products. This is 3 diamonds paper, which I don't think I've used before. And the size of the notebook is really fun. It's like an A5 slim. Not many pages. So that could be a good thing, just like a little project dedicated notebook. And I want to, since I don't think it says the type of paper anywhere, I like to write the type of paper in here just so I have that reference. Three diamonds. It's great for fountain pens, for writing. Okay, let's test her for swatching. And I guess I could use other swatching methods to see if the paper is going to be good, but I think that my spoon swatching is the most intense because I'm actually dripping dots of ink on the page, and I think that's a little more intense for the paper to handle. So I feel like if it can handle this type of swatching, then anything else should be fine. Yeah, this is moving really nicely. I also pay attention to the experience of swatching. Like, is it easy to move the ink around? Okay, I'm actually gonna let this sit for a sec and dry, come back to it just to see if we get that sheen, because I think that will determine whether or not it's an A, A+, or B. Ooh. Nothing back here. So we are looking real good for this 3 diamonds paper. This paper I first heard about, acquired in Japan at the Tokyo International Pen Show. I came back, loved swatching on the Sabundo paper, which I just have in this little packet. I've since purchased A5 sheets, like loose sheets like that, and a couple of notebooks by Naoto, I think. Naoto. So they make the paper, and the paper is called Sabundo paper. So this one in particular is a grid, kind of, it's a soft white, And I love that this notebook has page numbers as well as markers to split the page into 4. So that's really nice. Beautiful like linen end papers. It's just a great notebook. So I feel like I already know that this paper is going to be amazing, but I just wanted to go ahead and do my test in the back for confirmation because future Julia might forget. And I know that this last page, even though it's not a grid page, is the same paper. I can feel that it's the same paper as the interior pages. So that's the only reason why I'm testing on this very back page. This is super smooth, glides really nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and give it its 2 checks. Now for the swatch. Yeah, you can sometimes tell as soon as you put the ink down if it beads up and just kind of stays on top of the page, or if it like starts sinking down and getting sucked in to the page. For swatching, you want it to kind of sit on top. So that you have time to move it around. So beautiful. We have some very light lights and we can already see it kind of moving through the different shades. So I'm just gonna keep an eye out for the sheen. Gonna let this one dry as well. Looking good on the back. So this one could be another A+. Coming back to 3 Diamonds is just about dry. And yes, we do get that sheen in here. I don't know if it's as apparent as the Stalogy. Yeah, I think it deserves an A+. Moving on to the Marks Ink Edit notebook that I got at Stationery Fest as well. This one has a grid ruling. It's an A5 size. I expect this one to be an A+ as well, but we like to keep things consistent. This is a grid soft white notebook. We do get some hard margins along the outside margins and the top. Beautiful, smooth. Nice and crisp. We don't get any feathering or soft edges. Now for the swatch. All right, again, we see that the ink is sitting on top of the page still, which is very good. It's moving around pretty nicely. We're just gonna wait for the sheen. So we're back to our Naoto Sabundo paper. We do get a little bit of the sheen. We get plenty of lights, mediums, and some darks there, but we are a little muted and we don't get as much brilliance on that sheen, which is definitely a vibe. Not a bad thing at all. But if you just compare the vibrancy of this Pilot Blue to the Sabundo, you can see the difference. So I'm actually going to give this one an A. Okay, and then I have the Life Noble Note notebook. I have several of these that I do believe I got from Hachimanjia. Yeah, Hachimanjia. It's a collab with them, these colors. And a lot of the time I see these notebooks, it's a very creamy color paper, and I do have one of those. But I got several of these like brighter white notebooks, and they're just grid A5 size. And I think, all right, so I've already written the fountain pen part back here, and it went well. So we have 2 check marks for that, but I did not do a swatch back here, and we need that swatch information. All right, and those are some pretty large drops, and it's sitting on top, so that's a good sign. Wow, this is very smooth and moving around the page nicely. Yeah, my goal with these is to leave some sparse areas of ink like here so that I know it's supposed to be light, and then leave some areas where there's a lot of ink on the page. Yeah, there's a lot of ink on this page. I like how thick this paper is, and we get nothing back here. This is great. And I can already see remnants of the sheen happening, so I feel like this is going to be good. We will let it dry and come back to the marks edit notebook, which is pretty dry, minus just this little section here. But you can see we get a little bit of that sheen. There it is. We get our lights. We get a little bit of medium. And again, the dark here is a little muted, but I think that's fine. I think similar, let's pull out the Sabundo. I feel like it's similar to the Sabundo. Yeah. So I'm gonna give this one an A as well. And then back to the Life notebook. Definitely get nice sheening here and a good bit of it. Everything looks vibrant. We have our lights, our mediums, our darks. And pretty good, like compared to the Stalogy. So I think that this Life notebook does deserve an A+ on the swatch. So this would be a good candidate for not only writing, but an ink journal as well. Okay, and that I think is all of the notebooks that I have to swatch today. I do have plenty more to do, so please let me know if you enjoyed this and want to see more paper types tested. Let me know if you have your own system and method of testing paper. I love hearing your creative ideas and solutions in the comments. I hope this was helpful to see. Like this video if so, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy fountain pens, inks, paper, planning, and journaling. Thanks so much for being here, and I will catch you all in the next one.